Hearing that slacking,
Yeah, for real, slacking.
isn't it? Yeah, so welcome to the new episode. It's always awkward talking to an entity that isn't here, namely the audience. I don't know who they are, where they are.
Hey.
Welcome.
welcome. This is Yas and Q, or Q and Yas, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, on this podcast, we're literally covering the majority of things, but mainly history. Ain't that right, Yas?
Yes, it's an all history podcast, but it's got a little quirk to it because we're not history experts. So,
Far from it. No historian background at all. So we're literally just trying to learn as we go.
yeah,
The majority of people that if you are listening to this, obviously some of
exactly.
you might know a lot more or probably do know a lot more about history than Yas and I. But that's good because obviously you can just kind of interact with us and let us know, correct us about things. And those that don't know, maybe we can kind of just like widen your mind and kind of put you in a direction where you might want to learn more about this stuff, because it's interesting. We've done a few kind of episodes where we've covered, what have we covered, Jess?
Oh, we've covered a couple of the key moments in history. Maybe one that people are not too aware of, but it was like very, it had huge ramifications for the country later. So we had King Leopold. That was that event and that.
A lot of graphic, like historical kind of events that have happened around that time of that person.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
an insight on that, like we've covered that. I think we've also spoken about like the pyramid and UFOs and like kind of those conspiracies.
Yeah, we don't stick to just what has happened, but historical UFO sightings we can pick up. It's not historical is a very broad statement, but it's basically what has happened and
Yeah.
what effects has it had on the human race and human, progress. So yeah, if you're interested, come on this journey with us.
Hey.
History.
Hey, that's what it is. That's what it is. And the reoccurring topic, which is, what was it that we always
Yeah,
talk about if it was
is
better?
is life sick? Is life better now or was it better then?
Yeah.
In general.
So this is literally something that we literally always cover all the time because obviously, with things progressing very quickly, you got the internet, you got like wide coverage of the media. There's a lot that you can actually see now, and there's a lot more information. But sometimes having a lot of information might be a hindrance and very like detrimental to us. And I don't know, sometimes less and being able to do more in terms of like being outdoors and not like kind of attached to technology is always great. But saying that is very hypocritical because we're here doing a podcast, so it is what it
Yeah,
is.
we're definitely gonna, monopolize on this technology and be part of the kind of wave.
Hey, that's what it
Oh,
is. So
ride
yes, what's how's your holidays been, man? How's the Christmas holidays been? That's what it is now. How's it been for you?
Yeah, so it's December 2020, and historically, what's happened in 2020 is bloody this pandemic that's affected all our lives, COVID and that. So we're just, dealing with that, being more, insular, knowing
Yeah,
that we have to be close with our family and that,
yeah.
and really realizing the moment. That's what I've kind of been on at the moment, and living life, isn't it? Just
Literally
chilling.
the year of being indoors. That's what it's been. The year
I'm
of indoors.
waiting for this.
You know, something that what I'd really love to go over. Maybe we can do like a little topic on vaccinations and like oh,
Vaccination.
what is it called? What is it called when something goes wrong during a vaccination? Like the repercussions. Like say for example, the benefits of it, and then things that we don't know, like the side effects
Oh yeah,
historically,
yeah.
stuff like
Let's,
that. It would be
okay. Yeah, there's a really like I've come across a thread on Reddit. I think it was on Reddit about the if you Google Pfizer kind of
okay.
history, there's
Okay.
been a huge controversy around how they've been administering, you know, vaccinations and how they've been running their pharmaceutical business. Huge kind of ramifications and it's affected
Okay.
adversely. So that'd be interesting just to see the dark side of it.
Yeah, you
Like,
know what? I kind of like that actually. Yeah, so I think maybe we should do like a little one-two like research on that. Maybe cover what you was just saying there and get more info because right now everyone's kind of like shook of the whole. Should they be getting the new COVID vaccination that was brought out really quickly? You know, some people are for it.
see,
There's a lot of people that are against it.
David, like, to be honest, I don't know if, yeah. So that subject is hugely controversial. So we
Yeah,
could be open to it,
yeah.
but I don't know how like YouTube deals with that stuff at the moment
Okay.
because there's a lot of people who want to talk about COVID and the other side of the story and such like that, but it kind of YouTube looks at them kind of badly and it affects their monetary gain. I don't know if this is going to bang and everything, but we could definitely talk
Hey,
about the
you gotta
outside
have
of
the intention of this is gonna bang, bro. What do you mean? Like this is gonna pop off. But no, I get
being.
what you're saying. Maybe if we like cover it in like a sensitive manner where, you know, everything's like really respectful or whatnot, because I'm sure there's probably a lot of pros to this new vaccination. You would think that they've put in a lot of time and they know what they're doing. So, you know, it doesn't I don't think it harms there isn't any harm to actually like talk about it. Who knows? We might end up kind of spurring people to be like, you know what, this is actually something that I would like to get. And you know, if they, you know, it's just a conversation that could be had in it. And I feel like this is what we're doing in it. We're basically just having conversations about things that we don't necessarily know that we would like to know more about. And I think that's just the basis of what we are trying to do here, which is, you know, rather than being so naive and closed-minded about things, we can kind of have that conversation and be like, have like an insight on what we actually want to know more of. And if
Mm,
we know, if we maybe say things incorrectly, then people should be able to kind of understand that obviously, you know, we're open to actually be corrected. So, you know, if there's somebody out there that knows a lot more than we do, it'll be great to maybe have them on like the Zoom call or like a Skype call, whatever, and we can kind of have that back and forth with them for like a few minutes, and you know, kind of get their insight. There's gonna, you know, in we hope that there's a lot of people that want to explore these things with us. Like we, you know, there's a lot of like historical things, a lot of things that are current now. You know, it could be anything. We could be covering anything. So, you know,
gone for a full lecture there.
hey, listen,
Send out
listen. I
all
don't.
the goals.
Hey, listen. I don't want to have no beefs with like YouTube's and all this
Yeah, we're
crazy stuff.
done. Full exposure. I don't know what that was, but
Yeah, what was that?
full disclosure. We are dumb, okay? And but let's have a conversation about history. So, David, how was your 2020?
I don't like, you know what? Like I said, it's been the year of being indoors. It's been a good year to kind of reflect and like do ideas and like plans and whatnot because obviously no one else is doing anything. There's no FOMO anywhere. So it's
Yeah,
not like,
the
it's
death
not
of the
like,
FOMO. Wow.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So there's literally been like, oh, you know, obviously people have gone on holiday and stuff like that. And I really want to go on holiday myself, but it's not been one of them ones where I'm like, oh man, I'm missing out. Or, you know, there's this really big event that's going on. I really want to go to that. You know, a really big music like thing going on. I really want to go to that. So it's just been pretty much dead, like just kind of focusing more on like physical things like exercising, you know,
Mm,
just trying to be like sane in a way, like mentally sane, you know, there's you know, it's been a year of being indoors and it's very paranoid to be out. You've got face masks on all the time,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So this is a new thing that we're going through, and
yeah.
obviously,
New age, man. New world order and all of that. The Great Reset. That's all the like the memes that are going around. So
mm,
historical times, and we're here to really talk about how did we get here
yeah.
as a people. How did we get here? So Q, how what do you know about history in general?
I mean, what I know about history is
It's
literally what I watch on TV. No,
oh,
I'm
that's the
joking.
honest answer.
Yeah, true, I guess. But I mean, you know, being around people that are obviously, you know, interested in history kind of makes you interested in history. And I'd say it's always been something that I've liked, as of what I'm sure you have as well. Yes, you know, reading like certain books or whatnot, and maybe kind of like even reading, is it you know, just like information books on like things to do with like historical events and like, you know, being interested in like I guess the wars and
Yeah,
all this
man.
crazy shit. Like, just there's a lot of crazy shit that's hidden in history that kind of still goes on today. So it's that, and
Crazy.
monuments and all this crazy stuff. You go on holiday, you want to go and see and visit, all these historical places, and it just kind of wants to draw you into more. So there's more to it, isn't it? There's more to it,
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, history is fucking mad, and it's been a crazy journey up to this point here. And just learning about history is kind of learning about yourself and
Yeah,
having
facts.
that historical position, that historical, what is it called? Help me out, man.
What do you mean historical,
Historical
like?
bearings, that's the one.
Okay,
Historical bearings. Yeah.
historical
So
bearings, yeah.
exactly. To have a historical bearing of where you come from, because I, as a Moroccan individual, I'm not of British, heritage,
Mm,
but I've come.
same.
Parents have come to this land, and now I find myself kind of, absorbing the history of Britain,
Mm,
imbuing that, and also trying not to forget my roots from Morocco,
mm.
historical kind of, yeah, culture and stuff. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, there's like history to both of those countries, and
yeah, mad
I
history.
think I think that's the thing as well. Like, coming from those backgrounds, like where you're not actually from here, you may have been born here. Like myself, I was born here, but my background isn't from here. You know, there's a lot to take on in it, and there's a lot of like culture to learn as well. Like as you grow up, you don't necessarily realize the amount of like kind of alien culture that you're kind of bringing into your household in a way. Because in my
Yeah,
house, it would be like, going into like a different country in a way, talking into like a different language and whatnot, and then I'll
same.
be outdoors just exploring everything, and on one side, maybe feeling really British, but then not necessarily feeling as British as I would want to feel. You see what I mean? So it's there's
And,
a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn.
and you're not alone in that feeling, because when I have conversations with people who are second generation immigrants and such,
Would you say we're first generations? Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I would actually have to kind of Google this, and maybe Aisha can Google this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but be our Googler. So, what's a second generation and what's a first generation? But um, yeah, I don't know about that. But I've had that conversation with people who have that, you know, upbringing, and they don't consider themselves as English. They consider themselves as British, the
Mm.
British citizen. Yeah, please.
First
What is it?
refers to those who are foreign born.
Foreign
So
born.
Second,
we are first generation then.
no, but second generation refers to those with at least one foreign born parent.
Yeah, so I think I am.
You're second generation.
I'm second
Yes.
generation.
So what am
What?
I? Am I first
Was
generation
you
then?
born here? Was
What?
you here? Was you
I was
born?
born here. Yeah, I was born here.
Oh yeah, then you're second generation as well,
Yeah.
because your parents
All right.
are. Yeah.
All right.
So
Cool. So second generations.
yeah.
I will say, during football is probably when I feel the most passionate.
And
So like, yeah.
that's when
So
English.
that's when the English comes out. So when it's the Euros, even though everyone knows, and it's kind of they're not necessarily the greatest side, but they got great players in it or whatever. Not to get too deep in football, but obviously when the Euros come through or the World Cup, you got
Yeah,
to kind of represent in a way. But obviously you do represent the home nation as well. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
and that dichotomy, yeah, it's special, man. It's special. It's very a unique experience for
Mhm.
us people, because back in the day, people stayed in where their communities were.
Yeah,
There weren't no well, only in times of famine or times of like distress that people actually traveled to different places. But most of the time, you're born in one place, you die in one place, and you don't get much mixing with other cultures and stuff like that. So it's a unique period that for humans, and the
I
whole
think
world seems like a melting pot. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, you know what? Just to touch on what you said as well, yes, I think you're completely true about what you just said there. Because a lot of people, it's weird how in history people would just travel. Like, a lot of people would move from one side to another side, but then it just became a thing where people just kind of stay in that place now, and they don't necessarily move on. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the statistic on the people nowadays not necessarily moving around as much to what it was before. I think people may have traveled a lot more. Maybe if they were like in tribes and whatnot, maybe they didn't. But I feel like there was a lot more like traveling. Well, you know what? I'll take that back actually, because now it's easier to travel. But I think people just return back, whereas before people would just travel to live elsewhere. Maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, throughout history, you have like individuals who were traveling for the sake of like expanding their knowledge, learning different skills, all sorts. But like as a people, there was not much traveling other than stress. You know what I mean? This is what's happening in like Africa and in the Middle East with the Syrian conflict. People are mass migrating into Europe that has never happened before. So we're going to see
that's where all the money is and all that stuff, isn't it? Like there's a lot of
all of the opportunity in it.
And I guess, is it opportunity based on, something that has happened naturally, or is it opportunity that's been based on, slavery and like thievery and all this stuff? So, if you take from somewhere, then expect the repercussion of that to come back. You see what I mean? So, there's a lot of things that we want to cover. Another thing that I wanted to throw out there as well is that me and you have had a conversation about, actually maybe further down the line we can actually go onto location, like I don't know, like Hastings and stuff like this, kind of go to places and like, kind of view things. I don't, it could be anything that we want it to be, with the ability of being able to kind of like create these things if we can, whether it be financial, whether it be like logistically, we're literally just down to do some shit. And, we want to take whoever's listening on this journey. And, maybe if there's something that you can kind of input, we would take that on. And even if we could get somebody who's listening that's very keen to maybe have a conversation with us about things as well, we're very open to it. So, yeah, yes. I think we got there's a lot of interesting room for things,
There's a lot of potential here. Like history is an untapped kind of resource. So, David.
Yes.
Ultimate question.
It's good.
In general, let's open it up.
All right, go.
Life better now or life better back then?
Oof. This is literally the topic, because I would say I'm very spoiled now. So it's nice to be able to go to a toilet, be very comfortable in the toilet. It's nice to know that we have like toilet roll.
Yes.
It's nice to know that we can have the heater on and like, the light on and stuff like that. That's very nice. And also medically, it's nice to know that I'm not going to go somewhere and they're literally going to start chipping away at my skull and doing all these crazy like medical, the way that they would exercise things. But I will say, the freedom of being able to kind of just like wander and kind of learn with your hands and be able to like create and like build things, houses. I feel like people were probably a lot more practical, probably less, I don't want to say like, I don't want to say less mental health, because that's probably something that, kind of always happened through life. And like, it's probably like a human trait. But I just feel like the distraction of constantly being active probably led people to be more, happier in a way. But, I don't know. I think everyone kind of makes their happiness through like bad times. So, you can't just always be like you're focusing on bad times. There's got to be like some sort of happiness in there. But a lot of crazy shit did happen, What do you think, Yas?
Yeah, just to expand on your point, I mean, the creature comforts, definitely love. Who doesn't love them? I mean, exactly. I was talking to the wife, Aisha, about, I don't know, when you're back home in your like motherland, do you have those toilets where you just squat down?
I mean, I've been to toilets like that, yeah. I've been to toilets like that. I've been on holiday, I've gone to like Thailand and all this stuff. And obviously there's places like that, and going to like Colombia, going to like the farmhouse toilets. I wouldn't say everywhere in Colombia is like that, but I mean, going to like the farmhouse toilets where you got to go to like a toilet out there somewhere, and it's like
out outhouse, aren't they called?
outhouse toilets and all that stuff, and they're just like insects the size of like hands and fucking all this crazy shit.
I mean, all of that's in the past, and yeah, that's hype. I can't live like that. And taking the shit is your personal time, isn't it?
That's it, personal time. You want to relax, innit? You want to chill out. You don't want to be worried about. Yeah, you don't want to be worried about fucking snakes coming around nowhere. You know, you're wiping yourself with a leaf and then you rip the leaf like it's peak. You know, you don't want that. You don't want that.
You need to roll around with like two men with bow and arrows. It's hype. It's hype. So
it's hype.
These times with the creature comforts, obviously, that makes you feel more content with life. However, what you said on how we have, in general, less skills. We don't know how to use our bodies as much. We're hugely distracted. The mind's been taken away. We don't know each other. We're not really connected with our neighbor anymore.
Yeah, true.
You had a people. You had a flag. You had a unity. You had different roles in different communities, and that gave you a rock to stand on, some stability for your soul during this journey. But now people are scattered. They're scattered. And that could be a detrimental kind of effect on humans, isn't it? So it's hard to say, but I could possibly give away some technology so I have like more neighbors that I'm more connected to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, true. Even like even things to do with like global warming and like all of that stuff as well, you know, like technology has kind of brought in all these things that are making like global warming a bit more madder nowadays. You know, back then everyone was kind of rolling around in horses and walking around everywhere, you know, so maybe that had a really good positive effect on the environment, you know.
Yeah,
but
100%. Yeah, 100%. You got those native and Aboriginal kind of people who still hold that kind of connection with that nature and the surroundings with them, but that's changed for the West, isn't it?
That's true.
We're more involved in the mind, in the kind of fucking consuming. Time. It's a weird time. Humans are bloody weird.
It's we're very we have, what is it, God complex in a way.
Oh,
we feel like we're entitled to everything and anything. So
I mean, just to pick on that as well, Nietzsche famously said, "God is dead," and because we kill God, as in humans kill God. So, and in that we've replaced it with our image of what God is, and we're fucking mesmerized by that shit. So you got everyone with big egos trying to be God, forgetting who we're really connected to. So, yeah, madness. So, in all, I think it's swings and roundabouts, but maybe the past has it slightly. Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like it could do. I feel like that, you know, I think the past maybe has an edge, but I feel like every week we'll probably end up switching it from back and forth. So when we go to the supermarket to buy our food, that's when we're going to be thinking like, you know what, maybe living nowadays is actually quite chill.
No, for real, living now is actually blessed. Come on, let's be
so blessed, bro. Like we can literally jump on a train and just go from A to B and like not have to spend fucking 3 days in a, you know, on a trail to get to like, I don't know, fucking somewhere.
Timber.
Exactly. So
like, I mean, we can have that journey that you said, train A to B, with like internet as well. Like, come on, luxury.
Exactly. Online banking. I'm joking.
So yeah, we are definitely a supporter of the now. But yeah, let's look back. What would you say is the most key historical event that's happened?
Oof, this is deep.
What's your top three?
Top three historical events. Damn, you're putting me on the spot, man.
I can go first if you want to take time to think.
I was gonna say when what are they called? Not the Aborigines. When the cavemen made that made fire or some shit like that. I don't know. I don't know. It took us into like that was probably like key for us in it as humans in it to just kind of move forward. I had to bring it right back, bro. What should I say? The missing link or some shit like that. When that thing went on land, that was probably the key point because that's how we're here now. Otherwise, we'll be swimming around in the water doing mermaid shit. I don't know. Why? What do you think, Yes? What do you?
I was going to say
have?
probably Noah's Ark, them
Okay.
times.
Okay. Yeah.
It was really serious. Now, I don't believe the Noah's Ark was actually a historical event, but there's some historical. But I was actually going to say World War II.
World War II. Okay.
World War I and World War II.
Recent, what is it like? Is that the most recent war that has been the World War, right? That hasn't been on the low, has it?
Total war. That was the most recent total war. That means no, the gloves are off, everything goes. The whole world is on like battling, and there's been few times that that's happened. I think the Napoleon Wars were a total war event as well. But yeah,
the Viking was also a total war. Like when the Vikings came over and did all their madnesses and that.
Back then, it was always total war.
Okay.
I mean, like when you had skirmishes and actual countries going at it, or like Vikings invading, it's like anything goes. But what I mean with the whole world warring, I think it was like Napoleon times was the time after, before World War One that it recently happened, and then after that,
so a really long time, a really long gap between.
Yeah, I would need to confirm that, but
yeah, I mean
that's how it goes.
What do you feel like was so important about that war, ending, and what was it that kind of resonated with you and that question?
I think that with World War One, that's where the kind of winners of how the world was set to be turned out. So back then, the Ottoman Empire collapsed, and there was a lot of kind of ramifications with Germany that set the table for World War Two, for what happened in World War Two. And again, this is the first time where everyone's warring with like machine guns, trench war. So there was like standoffs where nobody could move an inch, like for like borders across the whole continent. You couldn't move because it was that kind of a standstill. There was new advancements in like medical care, fucking weaponry, how countries are run. Because of that, the British kind of empire collapsed, mad stuff like that, that has set the kind of, again, the table for what we're living in now. So I think them times was key for our generation of people.
Was that the first time? Was that the first time a nuclear bomb was used, or something? Or like the introduction of nuclear warfare? Was it then?
Exactly. So World War II was the key time where the first time that nukes were used on people with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was like fucking mad, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly. Exactly, and I guess that's literally what it's advanced to now. Like everyone knows, the next world war would probably be like a nuclear war or something like that, which would be fucked for all of us. And obviously, that's something that we kind of wish that doesn't happen, but you never know. You never know.
Mutually assured destruction, it's called. So yeah, that was the tactic set up after Russia started, building their nukes, and America building there, and everyone building their nukes, and they're like, all right, if you pop off, we all pop off. So
that magic button. But you know what? This is that would be actually a really cool episode to touch on as well, like World War One going into World War Two, like various wars that have gone around. The mix of all of that. So I think there's a lot to be shared and spoken about.
I've got a podcast for you that I've listened to by Dan Carlin. He's a historian kind of podcaster, but he's a buddy historian. He doesn't really, he hasn't had any formal education of it, but he loves the shit. And he talks about World War One and World War Two. I think it's just World War One, but it's mad, and he goes into detail, and it's a long one. And it'd be probably nice just to for us to listen to that and talk about it and use that as a kind of a
The bench point in a way.
Yeah,
man, I'm down. What was it called again?
Hardcore History, World War One. I think it's something Armageddon or some shit. But I'll find it for you.
All right, yeah, send that over when you got the chance, man. I'm down. You
Let's-
know, do some more researches and whatnot. So you said World War. Is there another one, or is it just, or we just need to stick to the one?
I mean, you pick on a good point. I might put that there as well. First time we created fire. I can imagine. I think it's Joe Rogan who picks up on this. The first people who created fire, that would have been like nukes to them.
Yeah. How did they put it out? What was they doing to put it out?
What do you mean? Yeah, exactly. What's happening? The whole fucking village is on fire. How do you put it out?
That's it.
Yeah.
You know what? You know, in them times, they probably believed in well, that's probably where the concepts of magic and all that stuff comes out of. Like, you know, people not being able to like explain these things, so they deem it as magic. I wonder if that first person or initial people that created that fire, what did it look like for the rest looking at them? Did people feel like they were gods and stuff like that?
Yeah,
like,
definitely. Are you mad? Your kind of knowledge is so like childlike. You don't know shit about the world. It's only what you project on it, or your imagination and shit. And then you got this guy who actually makes fire. He's some wizard, fam. He's like he could do anything. What? Give me your food, or I'll burn your house. That kind of level of shit, man. It could have been that kind of historic and trust in humans. I can imagine that happening. Like some bully with a fire stick just going around, like, give me your shit.
They definitely ate good afterwards as well, man. They finally got to heat up stuff, you know. They got to make like steaks and all this and that. Because I don't know what they were eating before, bro, but they weren't eating that cooked, is what we're saying.
At all. No, at all. Yeah, see, that's a key historical event. The first time somebody cooked meat and they were like, this is nice.
When you think about it, like the amount of people that probably died just doing mad regular shit, just to so that the next person could figure out, oh shit, don't do that, you know, kind of stuff. There must have been bare lives lost, bro. Like bare lives lost, man.
Bare lives lost. Yeah. Moment of silence for those souls lost.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So I know not to eat that berry, or like, you know, gravity hurts.
Yeah. So tell me, is there anything that you want to, like an episode that you would love to cover?
Yeah, I think we've picked up on many of them already. You've mentioned like World War II. Vaccines will be a good one. You said also something about in general medicine, healing and shit like that. But truthfully, maybe I don't even know. That's a good question. I would
love
like
historical characters, like people. I don't know. You got any?
There'll be all of the key characters. Alexander the Great. You know, Plato. Talk about like philosophy, schools, and the development of like science and shit. The historical science. Isaac Newton and all of that. Maybe just generals. Napoleon. Come on, he's one of the key characters. Vlad the Impaler. He's those obscure characters that has such fucking mysteriously violent characteristics.
I would love to get to like the bottom of the psychology on him and like his ethics of like, you know, killing people, and what kind of drove him to be this kind of person. How do you become that person in your mind? Like
exactly, just try to pick apart his brain, where you've got such power over people that you could do whatever you want. Yeah, that's
anything. It is mad, bro. It is just fucking mad. It is mad. It's mad. Like going back to, you know, the episode that we spoke about to do with fuck man. Sorry. In the Congo. Sorry, in the Congo. Yes, you got to help me out here because my memory is a bit dead. King Leopold. And going back to like the level of power that this guy had and him doing what he did out there and not even, you know, stepping foot in the country.
Yeah, that's even madder.
It's mad. Like it's mad the levels of what people can actually do. Like there's some evil people out there, bro. There's like
demonic people using dark powers just to control people, and it's crazy out there, man. It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
I got away with it.
Yeah, no, that's there to stay. By the way, that's there to stay.
Where did she go? Where did she?
Where did she go? It's magic. It's magic. Yes, it's got magic here. But yeah, no, I think we wanted to do this little introduction just so that everybody knows, like, you know, our intentions. We'll probably switch it up more and more as we go in as well. We'll probably just cover a lot more things that probably don't have to do with history as well, probably a lot more current things as well. But, you know, it's nice to kind of brief everyone in the direction that we're going and, you know, us wanting to do this, isn't it? So, you know, we want to do this and we want to kind of make it into like a regular thing. So why not, you know, come join us on this journey.
Defo, defo.